ready to go?
We're ready to go.
We're ready to go. That's
Just
all right.
Go ahead.
We good? Okay, go ahead.
Well, good morning, everyone. I know everyone can hear me. I am your Mayor, Lula Davis Holmes. I'm joined here with my colleagues on the City Council, Councilman Juwan Hilton to my right, Councilman Cedric Hicks to my left, and I understand that the Mayor Pro Tem Jim Deere is en route, but I want to be considerate of your time. We said 11:30, and I just want to welcome you here this morning. This is the second meeting we've had at the Dignity Sports Park, and I want to thank the Dignity. I see staff over there. Hi, darling. Tamla Lewis. And I just want to say thank you for allowing us to come today to have this meeting. This meeting is all about you, and contrary to what you may have heard, this council has been working diligently to make sure that we put together a package that will benefit the residents here of the city of Carson. We will let our city attorney address that at the appropriate time. And I want to thank our city manager, Sharon Landers. She's here with us also, and all the city staff that was involved in putting this event together for you today. Most of your questions will be answered, but it will be about the options that you will have as you transition from Imperial Avalon. So the Assembly bill will be addressed transitioning. Thank you, sir. The Assembly bill and other questions that you may have will be answered by the developer and our city attorney. So right now I'm going to turn it over to Sharon. Did you want to say a few words?
Very briefly.
Okay, Sharon Landers, our city manager. We will be here during the duration of this meeting, and just thanks again for coming out from your city council and elected officials.
Thank you, Mayor. I just also want to welcome all of you. I know it's been a while to get this workshop set up. The first concern had been with the pandemic. We didn't want to bring anybody into a situation where people might be unduly exposed. But with the pandemic now receding, we felt comfortable enough to get you back out here. So I'm not going to spend any more time other than just to welcome you. And I'm going to ask Sunny Saltani, our city attorney, to come up and say a few words and get the program going. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I know by now you know about your options. We've talked about, I want to recap the last workshop that we had. The big issue that everybody wanted to kind of address was, one, can more be done for the residents? And we informed you that because the hearing had closed, there was nothing through the way of the relocation package that could be done. But in negotiating the development agreement with the park owner, we would be looking at trying to get more benefits for the residents. We have started negotiations with the park owner. Darren is here, and he's going to report on some flexibility that they have created based on the council asking and demanding of them to do more for the residents. And Darren's going to cover on option A, how they have come up with a better approach to take each individual and look at their needs and enhance the benefits under option A. So I'd like Darren to speak to that. We also had, last time we also had conversation about, well, option C, what does that mean? What do the renderings look like? What will the place look like? You wanted to be able to make informed decisions. And the developer is at a place now that they can share more about what the project will look like and what the condos will look like for option C. And so after that, we'll have question and answers. As far as AB 2782, we've covered that extensively. Yes, it is a statute that was passed. Yes, it is a law that requires the appraisals be done under fair market value, in place values. And we have discussed how, unfortunately, that law went into effect after the Spark closure and after all the appeal periods had run, and it's not applicable. I know that's not the answer you want to hear, but that is the answer. The city's options are limited when it comes to applying AB 2782 to this particular park. But Darren sitting here, we're still not giving up on getting more concrete benefits through the development agreement process for the residents. There is dialogue going on, but I'm not at a place where to have anything to express to the residents right now. But we are working diligently at trying to look at the comprehensive entitlement process. The council has even instructed staff to look at whether the city can forego some of its land use benefits that it would normally receive under development, and in turn make that be benefits for the residents. I mean, they've gone as far as having us explore that. So it's underway, and we're looking at those options. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Darren to go over the enhanced option A and to talk about option C. And I promise everybody will have an opportunity to speak, to ask questions. So please be patient as we present, as Darren presents these options. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, council members, staff, thank you for allowing this event to happen today. Want to thank everyone, all of our residents, for coming out and listening. And
I just want to clarify that. So you asked if Darren is here on behalf of the city or the park. He's here on behalf of the park. He's here at the demand of the city council. The city council has asked him and the owner of the park to enhance the benefits for the residents. He's here to present on the enhanced benefits.
thank you for that question and clarification, Madam City Attorney. A lot of you residents were with us at the park on May 11th. A lot of this will be stuff that you've heard already, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to hopefully provide some more clarification and details for you. We could start the presentation, please. And I wish that I had a pointer, so I'm largely going to be reading these slides with you. I hope we'll be able to see them, the text okay in this light and everything. This presentation will be available for you as well. I can certainly share it with our residents. Okay. Oh, great. Okay. Next. That's okay. So I'm Darren Embry. I represent Park Ownership, as you well know. Here today also with us is Norma Jaquez from OPC, our relocation specialists. Some of you are working with her and her team now, and part of today is encouraging you who haven't reached out yet to do so. Where we are in the process, this is what we're going to go over today. Where we are in the process, further explanation of the relocation options. A key point for us today is encouraging you who haven't to contact us. We've been talking to many of you over this, over a year now, but too many residents have not yet contacted us. We've sent multiple flyers and, phone numbers, emails. We're certainly talking to many of your neighbors right now, but we're encouraging everyone to reach out to us soon if they haven't already. We want to know what your questions are. Anyone who needs interpreter services are available. We'll do those in person, over the phone, whatever is best for you. January 2022 remains the projected closing date of the park. We're contemplating issuing the 6-month notice in July of this year, which is next month. At that time, forms will be provided to you to identify which relocation options you'll be selecting. And of course, as you well know, many neighbors have already moved or begun the process with us. We have almost 25% of the park that is either vacant or occupied by renters at this point. Just a data point for everybody. Next. Many of you submitted proofs of purchase prices. These are some numbers for you. 102 purchase prices were submitted. 58 were approved as submitted. In 31 cases, the final appraisal values were higher than the purchase prices, which is good news, I suppose, for those folks. And letters went out with that information. 13 purchase price requests were denied, but without prejudice, we would love to hear from anyone who wants to provide some additional documentation. And it's not, there's no deadline that you're up against. We'll review them, but we want to do it soon. During our public hearing process, there was some misinformation that was shared. I don't remember the sources, probably multiple people at the council and planning commission hearings, but it was stated that older coaches cannot be transported. That's just factually incorrect. Coaches in a wide range of conditions can be transported. Skilled folks are doing that on a daily basis. Coaches as old as yours and older are being moved. Parks won't accept older coaches. Multiple parks that we've identified, there's some flyers here today, and we'll talk about that more shortly. Multiple parks in Southern California are willing to accept coaches dating back to the mid-1980s, and newer, of course. Imperial Avalon residents, another falsehood, residents have no options for moving their coaches to different parks. Now, if you have an older coach, maybe Colony Cove, for example, who's right across the street here, won't accept your older coach, but other parks will, many other parks, and we're adding to that list on a daily basis. We hope that you will consider allowing us to relocate your coach to another park, perhaps further away than you would ideally like, but are other benefits to that option that we'll talk about in a minute. What was the last bullet? Sorry, I don't want to miss anything. Yeah, okay, yeah, the challenge with this is the distance to these parks that will accept the older coaches. Go ahead. Thank you. In the resolution that was approved by City Council, there was a 50-mile limit. We had to transport coaches as far as 50 miles to any park of your choice. We're expanding that at the request of City Council. We're expanding that to at least 100 miles. And we are willing to negotiate expanding that even farther. If you find a place that you want to live, we want you to be happy. We want you to live somewhere that you like. So we'll work with you too. We want to do what we can to make you happy. I know no one's happy here today, but we're going to do what we can to improve the future outlook for you guys. There will be public comments in just a few minutes. Instead of payment for only 1 year, and what was required in the resolution was payment for the difference between what you're paying at Imperial Avalon and what you would be paying at a new park. Maybe not really much money, but what we're proposing as part of option A, again at the request of City Council, is to pay for complete rents for multiple years. So you would be living rent-free for multiple years at a new park in your coach, or perhaps another newer coach. And again, we want to know who's interested in that option, in that possibility. So we're hoping to hear from some of you folks, not necessarily today, although you're welcome to. I'll be interested in what your comments are on these enhanced options when you come up to the microphone. But the free rent, literally free rent that we're talking about providing, and this is just some quick math. Every case will be different. You may find a park that we haven't located yet. We'll have to look at all the details, but in our quick calculations, multiple payments for multiple years of rent can result in $20,000 or more to you.
Can I just say something?
Sure, of course.
So the council wants to know, if you contact the park owner and you're interested in option A and you want multiple years of all of your rent paid and they're giving you a difficult time, they're not negotiating in good faith, you need to contact us. And the council has instructed that we need to get involved and make sure that the resident is happy with the deal, not the park owner. So I'm saying it in front of him. If they don't give you the multiple years, if they don't give you the full rent, for the new place, you need to contact me or Saeed, and we will make sure that the deal is negotiated fairly at that point. Sorry, I wanted to clarify.
I mean, I know that, I'll just speak kind of personally just for a second. Sorry?
Call me. I'll give the information.
I know many of you, may not like me, don't trust me, but I'm doing my best day in and day out to be transparent with you, to work closely with staff. Sorry?
It's like Darren, just move on.
Deanna, I appreciate that very much, but let's wait for, okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna stop this. Sorry, Darren. I don't want you arguing back because no. I'm saying sorry. I don't want him arguing back. These residents are tired. Their homes are being taken away from them. They have a right to express their frustration, and I would really appreciate it if you allow them the forum to express their concerns. You don't need to argue with Darren. If they're being non-responsive, my number is area code, and I'll put it on the screen, 949-223-1170. That's my office. My name is Sunny. Saeed is at the city, the main number. You ask for Saeed Naseh, and the two of us will jump. You can email or call, and we will jump on it, and we will make sure that they're being responsive and that they will take care of you, okay? 949-223-1170. And Saeed has his business card if anybody wants it. Yes. Call us, and we will make sure within hours their calls are returned. I promise you. Okay. Sorry, Darren. No back and forth, please.
Yes. I won't speak personally, but we look forward to your comments, and we are proceeding with everyone who has reached out to us with formulating a plan for you. That is a fact. So I look forward to hearing from everyone as we proceed. Go ahead. Okay, so I mentioned the negotiations, as City Attorney said, it's gonna be transparent, it's gonna be fair, okay? That's our goal, and we're gonna make it happen. Next, please. So enhanced option 8 to be negotiated per individual household based on desired location, cost of transport, and rent levels at the new park. To me, it seems, I could be wrong, but for folks who are retired, not needing to drive into work every day in the South Bay, who may be averse to apartment living, so that option C, coming back to the new project, or a permanent housing location in Carson doesn't appeal to you, then we urge you to consider option A. Okay, relocating your coach to a well-kept park, living rent-free, literally rent-free for multiple years, and living in growing communities that will be within 90 minutes of the South Bay. I'm just thinking out loud here, but maybe your doctors, your families are more South Bay located. You live in the park rent-free during the week. You drive down on weekends. It's literally, at the right times of day, you can be here in 90 minutes. And what I'm talking about is some of the outlying parks in the flyer that is available to you back at a table over there. And again, if you find other locations that you want to move to, please let us know. Just option B, I think you most know this pretty well, most of you. 100% of the coach's value The escrow process, where in every escrow process, we pay all the fees. Typically has been taking 4 to 6 weeks, some a little longer, and I'll get into some challenges that a couple of folks have had. The escrow process can be expedited, and it can also be extended, no problem. We've done both. Early release of up to 95% of the funds due to you with a flexible close date. If you want the extra 5%, if you need that, you want that to make the next down payment or security deposit, whatever it might be. If you take the full and leave nothing in escrow, we only require the firm 60-day closure of escrow. If that's a little confusing, I can explain it more in detail. But those are the two options. But we're releasing 95% of you to you, and you can extend the close date as long as you want. Relocation assistance, of course, in this program is also provided. Again, we're paying all the escrow fees where we buy your coach. Escrow companies, these are some of the issues we've had. Not everyone's understanding the role they play. They don't work for us. They don't really work for you either. They work as an independent third party to make sure that the transaction is managed transparently between both parties. We have run into some problems with folks not either being maybe online, everything's done through the mail, has slowed things down, people not realizing what they have to sign in order to move escrow forward. You know, that's something to just be mindful of. If you need help, we can help you with that. And we certainly, in everything that you sign, all the contact information for escrow is provided. We've run into some title issues where the names on title, maybe it's someone who's deceased or living remotely, they obviously, if they're alive, they need to sign the documents too. That has also led to some delays. But if you have a title situation, and I've been saying this since the very beginning of our process actually, if you have a title issue with someone who is either deceased or maybe you need to have them teed up to sign documents that are coming forward, let us know. We can get you the proper forms with HCD, who processes all the title transfers, the Housing and Community Development Department of the state of California. We can help you with that. Our park office staff are well-versed in HCD processes, and we're here to help you do that ahead of time so that when you do want your money at the end of this, there won't be a delay because someone didn't sign a document. One more. Mortgage balances too. That is another challenge that we've come upon, only to the extent that it takes longer to process. Some of the mortgage companies who are holding legal ownership of a part of your coach might be in South Carolina, Missouri, across the country in any case. And getting them to sign everything they need to sign has been a slight delay for some folks. Thank you. Okay, option C. The benefits, as I think you know, is 45% of the total due for your coach. And the reason that it's not 100% is because we're providing 20 years of housing at affordable housing rent levels based on your income level, okay? That will, by the time, we're actually moving you back into the permanent housing, the rates will have changed, but I can share with you when we meet in person what those 2021 rents look like based on your income level. We look forward to that conversation with you. To be candid, the interim housing is the biggest challenge of the option C. We're working to determine where and when we'll be ready to move folks into that location, but it's probably going to be multiple locations. OPC is working with some folks now who have expressed interest in option C. They need to find that interim housing, okay? Relocation, of course, is also provided there. And this is the process, and I hope this, I tried to make this clearer, and always here to answer questions, but I hope this helps a little bit. Select option C, let us know, engage OPC in search for the interim housing. Once the housing has been identified, and it occurred to me just this morning, or if you really want the money for a security deposit in advance, we can start the escrow process for you early and release funds to you before you have necessarily identified the interim housing. It's money in your bank. There's a benefit, right, to that. That's something else that we've kind of expanded. Okay? Questions about that, let me know. Relocate to, and then once you identify the interim housing, we pay, of course, to relocate you to interim housing for a period of up to 2 years. Construction of permanent housing begins upon closure of the park. Obviously, we can't build the new project to bring you back until the park is empty. Okay? 2 years in interim housing, and then after the permanent housing has been built, we relocate you back to the permanent housing, again, at affordable housing rent levels based on your income. That is, we'll transparent. We can share again with you what the rents are today, so you can start thinking about what it will look like when it's time for you. And I want to make this clear too. It may be better for everyone, for all our residents, if the permanent housing can be built sooner. And if we're able to find a location in Carson, we're required to place it in Carson. If we can find a location and build a new project in Carson that can be that permanent housing for you, we're going to try to do that. It will be a smoother transition. It will be faster getting you into your permanent situation. That's our goal. We know that this is option C, has its drawbacks. We get it. It's challenging, the two moves, if for no other reason, right? But we're here to help and figure out what's going to work best. No, sir. It would be new senior affordable apartments housing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Well, these are some renderings. The light's a little funny, but this is our proposed new Imperial Avalon project. This is, you're looking west into the project from Avalon Boulevard, just to give you an idea of the architecture and the landscaping. And next slide, please. Thank you. These are, no, part of these units. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So what the option C of your package, sir, is that once this development is done, every resident in Imperial Avalon can move back in, and for the rest of your lives, you can live there at affordable rates set by HUD, and you get 45% of the value assigned to your coach. So no, it would not. They are going to be nice places. They are going to be mixed with high-end apartments that are going to rent out about $3,000. But yours would not be that value. You would pay, I think we had the chart, it would be around $500-600 a month. That's it. I know it's not a home, but I was answering his question that it's not an expense. It's not a $3,000.
These are rent.
Yes. But not at these prices. So you would get a $3,000 unit.
And yeah, and we would be subsidizing, obviously. That explains the 45% because we're subsidizing the rents for that 20-year period. Okay, next. Thank you. Yeah, it's not section. Well, it's not Section 8 though, Dora. I know it's not Section 8 though. But I don't want to go back and forth. We want to hear all your comments, all your questions in just a couple minutes. I'll hurry up. Okay, example of option C, budget. Now, I'm kind of taking a little chance here, but individual values and budgets will vary, okay? Some of you are getting, well, interim housing rent to be partially funded by 45% sale of their coach. I just wanted to kind of put some more clarity on this for you. When you come meet with us, we will plug in your numbers to this formula and help you identify, you know, what your rental budget will actually be. But right as of today, the average valuation of the remaining coaches that we need to buy is $89,000. Okay, 45% of $89,000 is $40,050. OPC has identified multiple rental units in the area. We averaged it at $1,652 per month. Again, these are estimates, averages, but those are the cities listed where those rents were derived from. $40,050 will completely pay for approximately 2 years of rent at such an interim housing option. And again, permanent housing's location is still to be determined. It may be on site at Imperial Avalon. It may be off site at a place we could build more quickly in Carson. So I want to make sure that when we're talking about what you can afford, that you're incorporating the payout from the sale of your coaches, right? If you're getting an $89,000 check or a $50,000 or $60,000 check, or a lot more in many cases, I will add, you know, you want to calculate that into what you can afford and figure out which option is best for you, right? If you're option B, when you're getting 100% of that value, I think makes a lot, it already has made a lot of sense for folks who have already started escrow with us. So we just want to make sure that you're including the payout value of your coach in your calculations. Again, come see us and we'll sit down and do the math with you and we'll figure it out. So again, option C can pay for an average of 2 years of rent plus the right of 20 years of affordable housing. Option B, using those averages and estimates, okay, can pay for an average of 4.5 years of rent. But if you're, and we'll get to this in a minute, if you're looking even further afield, if you're allowing OPC to try to, you know, expand the radius of which they're looking for apartments for you, it would be even more, right? More time that would cover of rent. These are the challenges, and again, Norma Jaquez is here today with us to maybe answer some questions as you come forward. Many of the folks that are working with OPC are wanting to remain in the South Bay, understandable, and requesting in many cases very low rent levels. That's a challenge. You know, the current rental market is tight. Finding South Bay apartments with low rents at the levels that we're being requested to find is proving very difficult. We are recommending that everyone who's interested in option C allow OPC to put you on affordable housing waiting lists. Sometimes it's years out, sometimes it's less, but we should get you on the lists, and this is for the interim housing, right? So that when something comes available, you have that option. So those referrals are being made to maybe some of you here. You've received some referrals. I don't know. We're making sure that I know that it is happening for some folks at the park. I'm not sure if you're in attendance today or not. Available mobile homes also are being identified for purchase prices ranging from $50,000 to $240,000. Next slide. In most cases, though, so far, when referrals are being offered, OPC isn't hearing back, or declining offers are being declined. You're shaking your head. Okay. Anyway, park staff will be posting referrals at the park office. We haven't done that yet. You know, it was more an individual referral basis, and I can report very clearly who has received referrals and who hasn't. Okay. But going forward, we're going to be posting that master list for everyone to see. Okay? And in light of market conditions, OPC and Imperial Avalon are asking you to consider two things. Living further away from your current location in central Carson to allow OPC to expand their search areas, and adjusting your expectations of the current market rent levels. Okay? Again, think about the check you'll be receiving when you sell your coach. That needs to be factored in. And if you allow us to go a little further out and raise your maximum rent a little bit from where you're asking for now, we are very confident that we'll be able to find some wonderful interim housing for you. Okay, next. So just to recap, thanks for listening. It's been a little long. Coach sales are occurring at an increased rate. We're hearing from more people after our May 11th meeting at the park. We started hearing more responses from folks. We've been having individual face-to-face meetings these last couple of weeks. We will continue to schedule those now that COVID has relaxed ongoing. Option A has been significantly expanded with a more generous range of transport and payment of future rents. Option C is definitely more complicated. It requires multiple relocations and the challenging identification of interim housing. But we're trying to expand, you know, to loosen that, and we'll need your help to do that and find some good places for you. Option C's 45% payment averages approximately 2 years of rent in the South Bay. Obviously, if you go elsewhere and it's cheaper, it's going to be more than 2 years. Option B's 100% payment funds approximately 44.5 years of rent in the South Bay. Again, go further and it gets cheaper. South Bay rental market is tight, requesting more flexibility, as I just mentioned. And again, with COVID receding a bit, we've restarted really on-site in-person meetings. We've had 2 days of those already. We'll be doing them again on pretty much a weekly basis going forward. So that's where you come to see us, sit down with us, tell us what your situation is. We can run the numbers with you and start to really dig in and zero in on what is going to work for you. The remaining timeline, 6-month notice as soon as next month, 90-day notice in October 21, and we're kind of setting that as our deadline for meeting with absolutely every family in the park by October, okay? The sooner, obviously, the better. 60-day notice as soon as November, and 30-day notice as soon as December 2021. Next. So we can't help you if we don't hear from you. We're going to continue reaching out over the summer. We're going to be on site, multiple times a month, if not multiple times a week. Housing referrals, again, are going to be posted at the park office through OPC. We have to hear from you to advance the conversation. And again, the regularly scheduled individual appointments are really what we're trying to identify for everyone. So thanks for listening. Thank you, Council, Madam Mayor, Madam City Attorney. Thank you for your time and attention today. And I look forward to working with each of you in the coming weeks. Thanks.
So I just wanted to say this is work in progress. I think the first part of what the council was able to get was this enhanced multiple years of free rent for option A. So that's one thing that has been negotiated now. And again, I want to say anyone that doesn't feel like that's being applied fairly to them, contact us so we can get involved and make sure it gets applied fairly to you. Second issue, if OPC or the park owner are non-responsive, that cannot be tolerated. The council will not tolerate that. And I am so sorry if you've experienced that. Please contact us. I've had individual contact me and say, and we've gotten involved, and they will get response within hours, I promise you. Even if we have to attend the meeting and sit there and make sure your needs are being met, we'll make ourselves available. And again, we're still working with the park owner. We're still trying to get even more than this enhanced option A from them to present to the residents. So be patient with us. It may take a little bit longer, but we'd love to hear from you and answer any questions you have right now.
We're going to go into question and answer, but I do want, I'm kind of alarmed, and I mentioned it earlier, about the residents that have not been contacted. So what I've asked our city manager to do is to get a list of all the residents that have not been heard from. We're going to do an outreach on the city's behalf, where the letter will come from the entire city council saying that we are concerned that you have not responded, and what is it that we can do to assist you. This is going to be an outreach campaign that's run by the city of Carson, because 100+ people have not responded at all, and that's alarming to me, because this process has been going on. So we're going to take the initiative to do what we can to make sure that everyone is contacted. Madam City Attorney.
Go ahead.
Hi. I have a few questions. The first one, Darren, you gave us a kind of an overall status of the interim housing and the difficulties you're having. Do you have anything more specific, like, I don't know, how much farther out they have to look, any specific park names you're working with? You had mentioned on the 11th you were working with other developers. Anything that can be more specific so we can even maybe take a look at those properties that you might have looked at?
I think for the interim housing question, we want Norma to provide that range, how she wants to expand, where she knows, she and her team understand where the rents start to be more affordable.
Okay, so we could get a list, I guess, in writing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
That's the idea.
Is it better to contact you directly, or
Yes.
because we have her email? So
for relocation, definitely.
All right.
But to your, well, that, I hope answers that question.
Well, it does. I mean, because when even on the 11th, you said you were having trouble, but I guess it kind of leads into my next question. The first part of it is, if you can't, just because of market conditions, forget about anybody being stinky about it. You just couldn't. The world changed and you couldn't. What happens to, what impact does that have on the closing date? Because if we don't have anywhere to go, and I know you're not going to put up a fence, you said that, but we don't have anywhere to go, what, is there an extension that is offered? Is there something where you back off? Because that's really one of the biggest concerns that these people have.
Right.
Is where am I going to be in January?
No one is going to be homeless.
Okay.
We're going to identify options for everyone.
Okay.
We are targeting January 2022 to
No, I know,
accomplish
and
that.
that's why I'm
Yeah.
asking, because that's
Yeah.
close.
No one, I mean, I guess proof's in the pudding, right? I have to perform, and I have
Yeah.
to follow, what I'm telling you and sharing with council today. No one's going to be homeless. Everyone will be set in a new living condition that they like, hopefully. That's acceptable, certainly.
See that it's
Right.
and
Right.
I don't mean to nitpick, but it is hopefully. And the biggest scare, like I just said a few seconds ago, is that's the biggest question. Where am I?
Sure.
Where am I going to be in January?
Sure.
And it is even vague on your part. Maybe you don't know. And it's entirely possible. You look at the condition of the market. Nobody knows.
Right.
So-
We're gonna need more engagement. And for example, OPC has provided multiple referrals to multiple residents and has gotten no response.
Well, we can.
I'd like
handle that.
I'd like to address that
The last
on an
thing-
individual basis. Go
And
ahead.
the last thing, the reason I keep asking it is because one of the things that really sold Option C when we all watched that meeting last year was that it guaranteed a home for everyone in Carson. And
sir.
now you kind of read it and you go, well, we want to be able to hopefully go over 50 miles if that's an option. We don't know about the interim housing, and don't know even if you're working on it is still don't know. So that's I just want to make sure that that's understood, not just by you, but by everybody that's working on this problem for us. It's a fear, like you're expecting to lose your job, you don't know which day. It's that kind of a fear now. So I just want to make sure that that's understood by everybody.
No,
Okay.
you kind of conflate. I hear you.
And I didn't mean to
And it's a good
yeah,
point. You conflated option A and option
yeah,
C.
yeah.
Option A is something different. Option C is there so that there will be a home in Carson,
in
in a senior affordable apartment. Absolutely. That we can't change that.
Can I just expand on this?
Of course.
So two things, Jeff.
And I didn't
One-
mean to-
Sorry, no. One, because this is really important. Under option C, everybody will have a permanent home in Carson.
Carson, okay.
So let's not be confused about that.
Okay.
And the lady that was saying this is Section 8, no, it's not. Because the city council didn't want to make it complicated for the residents, it's simple. The park owner is paying your subsidy. So you don't have to apply, go through Section 8, you don't have to go through HUD. They will pay the subsidy out of their pocket, right? So it's a very simple process. You just go to them, you put your name on the list, and when you come back, they charge you at the HUD rates based on your income, but they pay the rest of the subsidy out of their pocket. So we've made it simple. I want to clarify that. It was option A where he was saying
Yeah.
if you move a little bit further, it might be more options so you can take your coach and continue living in a mobile home. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay. Thank you. And this next part of the question might actually be for you. As you're going through this, it's actually altering some of the pieces in the resolution. If you do that, what's involved in doing that? And what are the consequences of it being changed? Do we as residents have another voice in talking to you about it? Do you just change it?
So we're not changing the resolution because that's done and all the appeal periods and everything's done. We're getting the council is getting the park owner to voluntarily add these enhancements. And if they don't honor what they're saying that they're going to do, we have the entitlement process where they want to get their development approved. And that's our check and balances. We will make sure through that entitlement process that they honor these new enhancements that they're agreeing to.
Okay. And then I just, this question is for Madam Mayor. Is that how, I want to make sure I address you properly. On June 1st, I watched all of you guys, and you were very protective of Rancho Dominguez. Your arguments were common sense, they were compassionate, they were patient, and they expressed that patience in the form of continuing and getting other experts to examine what was going on. How come that effort wasn't used during the Imperial Avalon closing, and it was said that the decision had to be made that night? I'm curious.
Well, I thought we were compassionate, myself. I really did, because this council has been compassionate since this process started. And come on, Madam.
I will let you respond to the part about the compassionate part, because but there was a legal reason. So we talked about that, remember? Rancho Dominguez is not up against the deadline yet. Remember, when there's an application process, there is under our municipal code, there is a timeline as to when it has to be finalized. Rancho Dominguez is coming up against that deadline too. So the next council meeting, they will have to make a decision on that as well. But there was a 2-week window where it could be continued. So that's the legal reason, but I will let her talk about the compassion.
But even if circumstances warrant it, because, well, wait a minute, even if what you're trying to do, and it clearly is being changed, so you're not able to get there, at least not yet. So the changes are make it self-evident. If you're having trouble really identifying things, and the real estate market hasn't changed that much in 2 years. We all knew that it was high then. It's rocketed now, but it was bad then for fixed income people, seniors. They're not going back into a job market, right? Like you said on June 1st, you were doing this to make sure that people that didn't have jobs, it's under a pandemic. We were under much more strict conditions pandemic-wise than you are now. And yet, even with the legal, the time limit, you had special circumstances in 2020. You had special circumstances. Yeah, 2020, started February 2020. March, the lockdown started. So you had the special circumstances. Wasn't it special enough?
How I'm going to answer that is this. We had compassion for both parks.
Yeah, I believe you.
And we worked with the developer around the clock to do all of these enhancements. Because as all the legal ramifications that our city attorney mentioned was out of our control.
Yeah.
So what we said was, these things are out of our control, but this is what we want you to do, because we can't stop, but we can put together what is considered to be one of the best packages. And I know it's inconvenient because you're moving from your home. What you heard me say Monday, the Tuesday at the council meeting is, let's go look, because we have a window that we can, and we're going to deal with that on the 16th.
Yes, you said actually Councilman Deere you made the quip. I don't even see this being done in 2 weeks.
I did. They said in 10 minutes. So we, on the 16th, 10 minutes I said. On the 16th, I want to come back, and there's some certain things that this council has asked the staff to do. There were certain things that we asked the developers to do, and that's to enhance and make it as a smoother transition, although we know it's not going to be that smooth. We're hoping that it's a smooth transition so we can help the people with the low-income housing and allow those that want to come back to Carson the opportunity to come back to Carson and live. We love our city, and we want our residents to stay here. Will your lifestyle be different? You may not be in a mobile home, but your rent will be the same, and we fought for that. We fought for that. It's not the ideal, but you will be in a new complex living at the same rent that you're paying now. We fought around the clock with the developer on these issues.
So can I just add one thing? Honestly, Rancho Dominguez is a lot more complicated than your park closure, because let me tell you why. Because with Rancho Dominguez, the coach values are so minimal. They're about between $10,000. The average is about $18,000. It is a very complicated, and there is no option C. There is no opportunity for those people to have 20 years of subsidized rents. So in some respects, it is a much more complex park closure, because that's why the council had to look at, well, is $18,000 going to provide for the rest of their lives for 20 years housing for them? And they wanted us to go back and look at what are the other, how else they can address it. So I get what you're saying, Jeff, but this is way more complex than your park closure because of the fact that the coach values are so low in that park.
Yeah.
Even with an AB 2782 appraisal, the coach values are so low in that park. And don't forget, I mean, I know my job here is not to defend the council. I just want to give you the facts. But there's a fact the mayor forgot. The council did enhance your package that night by about $3.5–4 million at the council meeting. I understand it's not, I mean, I get it, it's not enough, but I just wanted to remind everybody of that too.
Thank you. I just kind of have one more comment. The legal part, they're not the same, two entirely different situations. But from a human standpoint, you took somebody's house.
Absolutely.
I don't think I can say it any more plain.
Absolutely.
You took somebody's, and actually, you didn't. You did. You lit this fire, and you didn't have to. You could have come to us and said, you know what? These are your homes. It should be treated as a fair market sale, as if you decided to move. Please do, because that picture that you showed, Carson needs development. I agree. It's an old city. It needs stuff. It does. But you could have come to us. I don't know what that does to a business. I'm not a business owner. And I don't know how you're stretched or what you're doing or what Faring's doing. But the people that are suffering here, they're still losing their homes. So, and I didn't mean, and Madam Mayor, it wasn't meant as an insult about what, I didn't mean that to sound quippy, impassioned and all that. But when I heard you speak, those 4 minutes where you said, this can't be done in 2 weeks, we need this, we need this, we need that, or clear your calendars, I was really impressed. And maybe because it was such a rush process with us, you didn't have time to do that. But at the very least, it didn't show the same attention to detail that's going on with a park that is a third the size with different conditions, but it's still the same people. Jim Deere said that. Excuse me, Councilman Deere said that. These are people. They're in the same situation. They're not working, so they're not making incomes. The guys or women or whatever, or families in that other park that are affected by the pandemic, they're not making any money either. They got no jobs to go back to. That makes it the same. And I know there's all kinds of complications, and there's things that needs to be done, and there's time limits and all of that stuff. But the last 2 years were not our fault. And at the end of the day, in a way, we're being treated like, you know what? We understand that it's not your fault, and it is actually the best package California ever had. But that's an absolute number. And it's in the face of something that is maybe insurmountable. But that's why I'm saying you guys could have helped. It would have taken longer maybe to return on the investment. Guaranteed. I don't know what business is. But if you would have done that, we probably would have gone happily. You wouldn't be here today. None of us would be. I'd be going back to work, and you'd be going on with your lives. But we're here today because somebody wanted something so badly that it was worth this fight. And for what? A few bucks? You'd have made that back in a year. We all know who Faring is. It's not a big secret. So go do your business. But you dragged us into your world. You made us come to a retail market and gave us less than half of what we needed to play there. And it's not fair. It's just not fair. There's nothing you can say about it. And you know what? I'm not, and again, I want to apologize to Darren too. Darren's working too. Everybody here has a job. And we all got caught up in this pandemic. Okay? It hit everybody.
Jeff,
But there are
you're
more of us that are
absolutely
suffering.
correct.
And I'm sorry to,
You're
No, actually, I'm not.
absolutely correct. You're absolutely. It is. You are the most impacted people out of this. I had a call with Darren yesterday, I think, as I was discussing the enhanced option A, and I wanted to make sure the residents understand that. And I think I got a little nasty with them too. And that's exactly what I said. Darren, what if someone came, took your home, gave you, you know, a third of the value, 2/3 of value, whatever, and said, now go live somewhere else? That's how you got to look at it. And you're absolutely right. I have been one-on-one with council members. I have been in meetings with council members. They want to do as much as they can. And our marching orders from the council is go at it, continue at it. So they're not giving up. They understand they're never going to make you whole. They understand this is never, ever going to be okay. But their marching orders to us at the staff level is continue chipping, and we will continue chipping. Just like the enhanced option on A, we're going to continue, and I'm saying it in front of Darren. It's not over. We're going to continue chipping through the entitlement process.
All right. That's it. Thank you. Why? Are you going to live another 40 years? Thank you for the time from all of you.
So, oh, okay.
Just one thing, housekeeping matter. I was just told that Dignity Hall will need the place back at 1, so just be mindful. Sorry.
Yeah. So going back to option C, see, what do you make you think, guys, if a billionaire like Farin can find the interim housing, what would make you think that you could ask these residents that are in fixed income to raise their bar on the rent and try to go farther to find a place to stay? You see, you will make work option C because our effort, we didn't vote for that. We didn't ask for our homes to be sold to, what, a few pennies? You asking us, these people, fixed income, most of them make $1,400 Darren, if they do that. So you asking them to raise find maybe a part-time job to make a little more money so they could raise the bar on the rent? You asking them the effort? I just want to ask all of you, whoever wants to answer, who vote for this and who has to make this happen? And another thing is you asking everybody to go and contact you. And I guess it's going to be appropriate that in meetings like this one or the ones we have in the park, you have translators, because I talk with the Latino community. They don't understand anything you said, anything you explain, and they won't go and talk to you because they don't trust you. They will trust somebody that speaks their own language. So if you want somebody to go and contact you, you need to have somebody that they could trust.
Thank you, Claudia. I'm pretty sure that, a couple of things. Chris Lopez in the park office speaks Spanish quite well, and he's already helped multiple residents. If we don't hear from you, from the residents, we don't know that they need translation services. So just to address that one. I have a Korean resident who has helped multiple Korean residents in the park process their escrow, and she's been really helpful there. If there are other folks that need translation and interpreter services, we can provide that. As far as the option C, raising the rents, what we really need, and we, like I said, we've provided referrals. We haven't heard back. OPC hasn't heard back. We don't know, is the rent too high? Do you not want to live in Bellflower? We can't, it's like pushing on air, If we don't hear back, all I can say is, well, if we can expand our radius, maybe we'll find something they like. Maybe the rents will go down. Well, the rents will go down, right? Another option, if you want to stay in the South Bay, is to respond to OPC with some of the rents that might be too high, but say, if this is $1,200 a month, if you could get me to $800 OPC, I would accept that. We need to know where the target is. And in too many of the cases where we're not hearing back, we just don't know. But I hear you. I'm not asking folks on fixed income to raise what they can afford, but we don't know what that is if they don't share it with us.
Well, one thing, two things. One, I think what I'm going to start thinking about is a process where someone from city is kind of more involved in these dialogues. It seems like there's some disconnect, and I think that our next objective, I'll circle back with staff, and then we'll come up with a process, and we'll email all the residents as to what that's going to look like.
That is really appreciated.
Absolutely. The second thing that I wanted to say on the rents, and Darren didn't clarify that. You're right that, you know, going from 500 to 1,400, that's a big thing, but that's what the relocation package is supposed to subsidize. So if you go from 500 to say 1,400, that $900, you have to like plan it, and maybe that's another service we should offer for some of the residents, how to plan using their money that they get to make sure that the rent subsidies for years is kind of planned out, because maybe that's and maybe even put it in escrow for you. I don't know. I'm thinking as I'm hearing the issues, so I wanted to clarify that too.
Now, talking about option A, why was so much misinformation at the meeting? Because you said OPC said in their report, so it wasn't the city fault, it was your fault, Darren. The company that you contract said that the houses cannot be relocated. It was a lot of people that from the beginning wanted to relocate their homes to Arizona, but they were told that they couldn't. So now after some of them are dead, and I guess we have also a suicide in the park, and right now is one of our residents that have maybe a month or two to live because all this stress, several heart attacks. You guys have new findings?
So it's not new findings. It's because the council heard the residents and they wanted the park owner to enhance the benefits. We apologize it wasn't something that was thought about earlier. You're right, maybe we should have, but the process has unfolded. We're learning what the people's needs are, and the council's trying to at least be responsive. It may be late for some people, I understand that, but I think that's the thing. The council has demanded that the park owner enhance it the way they have now.
Sonny, Councilman Jim Deere. Carla asked the question of the council as a whole, and I want to address that. The reason is that we're going to run out of time. This meeting has to end at 1 o'clock, and I'm going to propose at this moment that we have another workshop in the very near future, because we're not going to have time, Carla.
Can we have the other workshop at the park and in the afternoon, because several people couldn't come today just because we got the notice 5 days before the workshop.
Okay, that's a
on
question
Friday.
for Darren. Darren, you'd have to answer that question.
Another thing, and it's for Darren now that he's going to answer the question. Why your wife, Laura, is recommending people, her words were, for several people listen the same, I wouldn't recommend option C because you have to move twice and blah, blah, blah. How can you say that when this package was approved because option C, if I'm not mistaken? Why is she trying to influence the residents
really
the same
simple.
as you to opt only for option B because you guys want the people to sign the escrow and start the process? And as I said before, a lot of complaints said that after they sign the process, you forget about it. They have to
That
be
is
reaching at you.
factually, I got to pause you there. That's factually incorrect, Claudia.
Oh,
When we enter escrow and documents are signed, the clock starts, and that's what we have the escrow companies for. But as far as encouraging folks to choose one or the other, it's our job to work with you and identify what the best option is. Really simple. If my mom's 83, right? I think about my mother. I think about what I would recommend for her if her circumstances. So some people, option B is a better choice, Claudia. And they're going to choose what they want to choose at the end of the day. We are here to advise, but also to present. And if someone, right, if it makes sense for them to choose option B because the payout is higher and they might want to, buy a home or move somewhere further away, option C may not make sense for them. Yeah. Or we're told multiple people here who are here today don't want to live in an apartment. Mm-hmm. Option B is clearly then, right, better for them.
Well,
or option A.
Yeah. No, because everybody wants to stay in Carson. And unfortunately, the only option that lets you stay in Carson is option C. So you asking people to reach.
Well, let me pause you there.
Hold on.
Well, but like B, I have people that have stayed in Carson with option B.
Because those people, most of them still work, and they making some income. Several people here, and I'm saying it loud, is $1,400 a month. Maybe $1,400, you just spend it in a dinner. These people live out of that. But you see, we want the city to intervene because we don't want you or your wife, influence the people in their choices. Because that's how you look the last meeting at the park. Going back over and over on choosing because you couldn't identify. I mean, option C after a year, they couldn't identify the interim housing. How that could happen? It's a year after the resolution was approved. Right or wrong?
Let me say something to that. Interim housing has been identified. Residents have not responded. Let me explain. I want to be clear. If nothing else today, okay, I want to help clarify things. Okay? Option C, interim housing, options have been provided. So it's not like there's nothing that has been given to residents. Again, I'm not sure, if you here today have worked with OPC closely or what. Many folks have received referrals. That's interim housing. We're not hearing back. I welcome, and I just say, I welcome the city's involvement. I welcome the city's involvement.
My name is Deanna, and I live at Imperial Avalon.
A quick comment to the young lady, and we're hearing you, and Mayor Pro Tem and I were just discussing this. What we're going to ask our staff to do is to meet with each one of you because there's some kind of communication, Darren, if it's okay. We want our staff to intercede and meet with you and come up and let them discuss with you your options, okay? Because the options are on the table. And then it'll be someone that you trust. But our city staff will intervene. Madam City Manager.
Deanna, just to segue into what she said, I want to correct a statement Darren made a little earlier about expanding from 50 miles to 100 miles. I don't think the council asked for that. You said the council asked you to do that. I think that was a logistical option of OPC, right? Not us. You said the council asked to expand it to 100 miles. I don't recall ever asking that. I want to reduce it to 1 mile. But okay, so that's a correction. The other thing is this. Okay, the other thing is this. I mentioned another workshop because we're running out of time today, but I can understand why you, the residents, don't want to go to Darren and the company they hire to get help because you might not feel comfortable. You might not feel the level of trust needed to do something such as a serious conversation like this.
It's the answers are not exact. It's and then there's always confusion in the
right,
answers.
and we want to. And one of the things, Dan, I don't mean to interrupt you, but one of the things today I had hoped, and I had expressed this to Darren, is that we move toward a position where you, the residents, who we work for, the four of us, we work for you. We don't work for anyone else except you. That you have certainty and clarity. Right now, that doesn't exist. It's unfair to you, and we need to correct that. So that correction needs to take place first before we really can move forward with the park closing. So having said that, I would, and Saeed mentioned it to me, if it's okay with you, Deanna, you're a leader, Carla's a leader, Jeff's a leader, and others are leaders of your...
Actually, I've stepped down.
What about one-on-one meeting with a city staff member or who's qualified and knowledgeable to be an assistant to you, to help you succeed to the maximum? Because we've all said that we want you to be made whole, and I'm going to disagree with our city attorney, Sunny. I like her, just like I like my colleagues, but I disagree with them on some major points. She mentioned a few minutes back that you're not going to be made whole. Well, we've all said you're going to be made whole. So that's a difference that needs to be corrected as well. Go ahead, Deanna.
All right. My name is Deanna, and I live at Imperial Avalon. I am no longer the president. I have stepped down due to health reasons. Many of us would like to go because we're tired of this. Me especially. It's affecting my health. It's brought some to death already, and there are people in the park that are praying to die before this all ends. I want you to know that. You'll meet them when you come to meet with them individually. But through this process, this is the first time that I have seen Ms. Davis sit here amongst us and be engaged. I watched a video where she's, looking to the side, doing this and doing that, but that's beside the point, and I'm not going to attack you today. And if, things I've said, I've said out of anger, and so I hope you'll forgive me, on that. And Mr. Hicks, this is the first time I'm seeing you here, and Mr. Jawan, you don't even return phone calls anymore. It's like we're at the 9th hour, the 11th hour, and we're getting now some assistance from our elected city officials in paying it, giving us at least some, some type of something like you care about what's happening to us. And I'm wondering why that is, because that's the impression that I got. That's why I've been angrily speaking, when referring to you all, and I'm still sitting here. You guys approved something based upon what you thought was a good situation, that it was going to compensate for everything. It appears to us, and has been over this entire process, like Mr. Embry and Mr. Faring or whoever has had more of your ear than us. And even still, even right now, he sits over there, he has side conversations with the city attorney, this, that, and the other. And, we are constantly having to submit to the demands of Faring. These people have money. They can do whatever the hell they want to do, and they've proven that to us. Thus, we sit here like this because we're disadvantaged. We're senior citizens, and we're asked to come up with more money, be willing to move further away, give up your community. All of that, when does it stop? When do you guys really recognize what we're faced with? 45% of $45,000 for your home, is not, is not livable. It's just not. And I don't know how you can, how you can sleep knowing that you're disturbing me and all of these people here, on the deal that you guys have approved. I realize that we can't renegotiate any of this. You know, we have to accept it. But where, at what point does the humanness, you know, where does the heart, you know, that, you know, we all have, you know, and the empathy and whatever be shown to us? Fortunately, I'm able to work. I hope to. Right now, I'm having heart issues. But, you know, my days are numbered, you know what I mean? And anyway, and all of us here, and everybody's, you know, but I'm saying that I personally want it to be over. You know, I want to go. Since you guys don't care about me, my residency here in Carson, whatever, you know, but I don't feel that it's fair that I should have to compromise so much and give up so much, you know, like 45% of 72,000, that's what I'm being offered for my home, you know, and that, you know, you made concessions for option A, but I have to move far away. You know, I work here. I'm gonna go live in Hemet to come to work here. That's a hardship. Even if my rent is being supplemented, I still have to make that drive in to work and drive home to work. Yeah, I mean, from work. Option B, where's the help with that? And then it's not even in stone that they must help me find somewhere to live. I'm only just now receiving responses, you know, with a list of places possibly that I could move to. But guess where they are? In hood areas, in Gardena, local to here, you know, places I would not even consider, that I can only afford because of what I'm being given for my home. How much does a person have to sacrifice? I mean, do you see what you're doing to people here? I mean, yeah, I cry, but that's just, I don't understand how this is okay. I really don't understand how this is okay. And then wait till 6 months from the day that we have to be out of here to now get with us. And then we can't even trust anything that's being said here because we've tried trusting, you know, everything that has been said up before now. You know, I'm hoping that this thing that you've come up with, Darren, you know, is in writing so that we can see it. Apparently the city has approved it, you know, but I don't see any real help with what you got going. OPC told me they cannot find affordable housing with the money that we have, period. A representative from OPC told me that. Yes. I wish I had recorded that phone call because there would be no denying what these people are telling you right now for you guys to see and hear, because I'm telling you, people have contacted Mr. Embry. I've been calling Mr. Embry because me and Mr. Embry have had conversations where, you know, I told him a long time ago, yeah, I'll leave. Can you help me? You know, because I, you know, whatever, you know, but I can't even get the man on the phone. He's wanting to have me contact him in writing now. You know, that's fine. I've contacted you in writing. I still can't get you to respond. You're responding just days ago. And one other time, you know, with no answer. So, you know, I'm just telling you, people are not trying to just not respond. We're trying to get out from under this at this point. You know, so that's all I wanted to say.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
just wanted to make a comment to all of you that are here, understanding that my concerns are your concerns, and it does not negate the hurt that is happening at this point in time. And I know the developer is doing what they're doing, but we're trying to put together. Well, one of the things that we're going to do to try to right that ship is to actually have each and every one of you meet with our staff to go over the concerns that you have, because apparently you're not being heard. And I think the only way you will be heard is by dealing with our staff, those who are Spanish speaking or non-English speaking, that we have staff available to assist you so that you get information that is in your native language to understand what is happening. To individuals who are trying, and I know that when you live in the city of Carson, you live in one of the best places you could ever live, and you don't want to go nowhere else. Why would you want to go to Hemet or to Victorville or any place like that? So my challenge to Darren and to Faring, that we look at locations in this area, and I'm sure there are some that are here that we just haven't looked at right now, multiple dwellings that we have in our community, that once we sit down with each and every one of you to go over your concerns, that we are able to put together something that is amenable to all of you. And I know that option A, B, and C, there have been some enhancements, and those enhancements have come by way of what we've heard. And I think that we need to continue hearing from you, because there's a gap that's in there that's not being filled. And I think that once we do that, we come back to the table. I know the Mayor Pro Tem has requested that we do another meeting, and I think that has been asked for that meeting to be at Imperial Mobile Home Park, so that we can hear from all of you who are in the area and those not have to worry about travel time. So my support is for you guys, and I am willing to support and have another meeting so that we can get this done. And I encourage you all to contact the city to set up that meeting ASAP, because we need to get that information on the book so we know what your needs are, because if we don't hear from you, we can't do anything.
Can we schedule that meeting date for the next one now?
Can I offer that we schedule that meeting far out, maybe in 3 or 4 months? Because, wait, let me tell you, because I want to have an opportunity. Hold on. We want to have an opportunity to be involved in the one-on-one meetings to make progress. So then when we have the workshop again, hopefully it's more meaningful. And if there's real issues staff is identifying, we can go back and report to the council and address it. Carla, do you understand what I'm saying?
Madam City Attorney. Madam City Attorney, and to everyone, listen just a second. Listen just a second, everyone. We're going to have this meeting sooner. Staff will start, and they can report back to us on the progress of the people they've met with.
Sure.
Because then we'll start marching to Georgia. If we wait 3 months, we don't have a correction. So I'm going to ask that we have this meeting within the next 2 weeks, and then I beg your pardon?
Sorry, I guess what the Madam Mayor and the City Attorney are trying to say is that they will send us all the contact information for us to contact the city staff, and everybody will have their own translator, and all the problems that we were talking today and the people that couldn't access could talk to them, and they will identify each problem. So that's why they need a little more time to
July
make the
1st.
other and have another workshop and try to have answers for us, but maybe different options.
So maybe we just do it early July. Maybe
Early
we just
July.
do it in 30
Early
days.
July.
We should have a meeting within 2 weeks so that they introduce the people that we're going to talk to. Then you want to have another workshop in 3 months, fine. But in 2 weeks, you should have a meeting so that we get to know from the people of the city that we're going to deal with.
If
They
that's
should
your
come
request, we'll
and
make it
introduce
happen.
themselves.
If that's your
What
request,
about
we'll
meeting
make it
at the
happen.
mobile home park, Darren?
Yeah,
Can
at
we
the
meet
mobile-
outside in the grass area and set up tents, canopies like this?
I'm sure we can make that happen. 2 weeks is going to be, I won't be.
Just a meeting.
For 3 weeks? 4?
Can we do, how about we put a plan together
I'm the longest. Okay.
Just a second, everyone.
Okay, wait.
Just a second, everyone.
Okay. Lulu, you know me. Darren, you know me.
Okay, Darren's
you
saying
all
it
know
is
me.
possible to do it.
Okay, can I say something? You
Yes,
know me. I've
please.
been here a long, long time. All right, for one thing, I don't know who's in charge of Section 8, but I'm going to let them know. And this is really true. I've been on Section 8 since 1968 until my mother died at that mobile home 2010. Now, you guys are wrong about Section 8. Because when I got on Section 8 in 1968, it was very easy back then. Now, I've been calling every day to get on Section 8. It's a 15-year waiting list. And they, you know how many times they've told me on the phone? And they don't work, they work at home. Wait, let me talk. I'm telling you about that, and I'm going to tell you about everything else. Okay, it's 15 years waiting list right now. And you know where I'm at? At the bottom of 2,000 people. And I had to stop Section 8 to code because my mother died because I have a disabled sister. And if it wasn't for her, I'd still be down on 219 in Carson Terrace on Section 8. But you guys got it wrong on Section 8. Call them now. It's a phone. They're working from home, and they're saying it's a 2,000 waiting list. It's 15 years waiting list. But I'm on a 2,000 waiting list, and I'm 73. By the time I get 80 or 90, I ain't gonna be on Section 8. And I'm trying because I don't want to live in that mobile home no more. I'm fed up because I get animals, possum, raccoons, coyotes, everything. And I'm sick of it, and they all know it. I've been mentioned Lulu, Deer, and all of them. Jim, everything I mentioned. I'm the one who got mostly animals because I'm not an animal person. But this hurts. This hurts what we're doing. And I've been on Section 8 for a long, long time. You know how bad I want to get back on Section 8? Because when she dies, I'm stuck. I want to be living in the tents and homeless. That's what I'm worried about. And I love Lily. I love Jim. I love all of them right there. Because I see them at bingo everywhere else. I see them in the stores everywhere.
Ms.
But
Dora,
you guys,
we're going to deal with your case
I know,
one-on-one with the
you
staff.
know I'm pissed.
It's generic to you. That's why we're assigning staff to work with the members, our residents individually.
but I'm saying it's no way to get to Section 8,
okay,
really.
but I want you to explain that. We have
I've been
someone
telling them.
in senior housing. You know,
You're
going to
work with a
housing.
city staff person,
City staff.
not the OPC group.
Everyone's needs are going to be different. Okay, everyone's.
Okay, and I say one more thing.
Yes,
then why
ma'am.
are they deducting our money when we leave? Why are they deducting our money?
Ms. Dora.
4 people that I know got their money deducted. Why are we getting our money deducted when we leave? I'll give you an example. I'm supposed to be getting 50. I might get 49. Yeah, there, see, Lulu? Now you do what I just did. You see that? For that mobile home my mom and dad lived in since 1972. And other people getting more than me. But they're deducting when you get that damn check. You sure they're deducting that check? 4 people that moved out here already told me. And he knows who I'm talking about, Darren. And that's wrong.
Okay,
And
we're
these
running out of
other people gotta know
time.
that. They're deducting our money, Lulu.
Miss Dora, staff is going to work with you because we're running out of time. We want to give
I know,
everyone
go
an
ahead.
opportunity to speak. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. We're going to have the next meeting in the mobile home park, right?
See? And
We'll have a staff meeting there. We don't need to brag. It won't be a council meeting.
when they talk about finding subsidizing housing, how big of a space are we talking about? Because right now I live in a 1,440 square foot home. You can't put me with all my stuff into a 800 square foot apartment. So I want to know what kind of size are they going to be compatible to what I'm used to living in? Because otherwise they're going to pay for storage because I'm going to have to put half my stuff in storage. Not only that, but my outside, my patio, my barbecue grill, the things that I have that are precious to me for one reason or another. So that's one of my questions. I want to know, am I going to get compatible living space for the amount that you're talking about? And the other thing, the 45% that we're going to get from our monies, there's a balance of 55%, which you're going to hold on to pay for the rent that I'm not going to meet. Like I'm going to pay part of it, of the rent, like $400 or $500 a month. And if it's the apartment is $3,000, you're going to take it from my 55%. So in essence, I'm paying for the whole rent, which is hurting me in my pocket. If you gave me 100% with the option C, then I see you're helping me and subsidizing me. But if you're only giving me 45% of my money, that means you're not subsidizing me. I'm just giving you money to hold on, to make interest, so that you can pay the difference in my rent. Thank you. And this is the second time I'm being displaced because of development in the city of Carson. Jim Deere knows me. I was at one of the meetings. I lived in the Don Dominguez Hills apartments, and now you have your Porsche Center there. That's how much you guys care about people. You displace people so that somebody can come and drive a Porsche, somebody with lots of money. And you put us out on the street. I want to see now what happens. I haven't talked to Darren yet or OPC, but I will. I'm in space 120.
That was my question. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to speak? We have what? Okay. We have 5 minutes to wrap it up. What I'd like to say is that we are scheduling a meeting at your Imperial Avalon within the next 2 weeks. It will be so you can talk to the staff, and there will be continuous meetings after that. But we need to start hearing your concerns. Our staff will be meeting with you, and then we will move forward. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to tell you.
I beg your pardon?
I just want to tell you that you are seated where you
Microphone.
Go to the mic,
Use the
please.
microphone,
I
please.
just want to tell you that you are sitting where you are sitting. You have the positions that you have because we vote for you. Are
And-
you willing, really bad, to get 229 people not voting for you next time? That's my question.
You're the boss. Yes.
You're working for us.
Public comments?
So I want literature, I want a notice given out in Spanish, Korean, Japanese, Tagalog, and English to every resident. So everyone knows about this workshop today and knows that the city is going to be working with every individual resident of the park. And that's what we need to do. There's no and or ifs or buts about that, I think.
Before
I hope staff heard me say that.
Yeah, they're taking notes.
Yeah, I hope
Before we adjourn, we have public comments. Mr. Deputy Clerk.
Madam Mayor, we do have public electronic comments from Rodney Warner, and it reads as follows. Dear City Council, officials, and staff, the workshop agenda is to inform the residents of Imperial Avalon Mobile Estates Mobile Home Park regarding the next steps in the park closure process. To my knowledge, the city completed the following: approved the relocation impact report, which included the steps in the process and options, rendered a decision on the appeal, on the appeal to the relocation impact report, attempted to have the state retroactively approve AB 2782. Faring park owner has provided a high-level description of the park closure from their perspective, including the steps in the process. Since the city has no authority to change the trajectory or alter any part of the park closure at this point, why is the city having a workshop? There's no further help from the city at this point. Since this matter is now between the homeowners and park owner, why is the city having having any type of meeting? Please provide a clear, expected outcome. What actions will the city be enacted? If this is only a listening ceremony, then please communicate that goal. I desire that this meeting have a meaningful outcome for the homeowners and not a repetition of painfully known information. Thank you for your clear response, Rodney Warner. The second comment comes from Linda Harding, and it reads as follows. Would like to first comment in regards to the last workshop meeting on October 28, 2020, and note that hopefully this workshop there is enough allocated time for the mayor and council members to stay throughout the workshop and not leave early for another appointment. The last workshop, Lula Davis did leave early for another appointment. The allocated time schedule was not enough, and it ran over. It might not be important to the city, but this is very important to the residents. As California reopens on June 15th, hopefully future meetings will be held over at the community center at City Hall, whereas residents need to have more communication in regards to the closure of the park. Thank you. Since the last workshop, there has been no communication in regards to the closure of our park, as it still states the earliest closure is January 2022. We have been in a pandemic for 15 months. The least that owner can do is extend the closure at the very minimum of 6 months to 1 year. We as residents lost that time, and yet we are expected to vacate in a 7-month time frame. There needs to be some compassion and not the get out attitude to the residents. On May 11th was the first meeting that the representatives had for the residents. Then, in our envelope of our rent was an additional letter hosting a 30-minute in-person meeting, to which I did schedule, as I was not able to attend the May 11th meeting, as I was finally able to see my brother in over 14 months. I was first taken aback when the representative said that my mobile home could be relocated to a city that I had no desire to even consider. It was my understanding that no mobile home over 10 years old could be moved in the state of California, and my mobile home is 40 years old, and I would hardly think that it could handle the move due to the age plus traveling over 120 miles. Not sure what is going on, but I wanted to let the workshop be aware of this and more clarification if this is legal. I asked if this 30-minute meeting was part of the 12-hour that is allocated to each resident. She didn't know what I was talking about. I then informed her everything is open nationwide, that I would be looking not only in California, but other states. She was like, we can open escrow, give you 75% of the funds right away. I said no, that I needed to look before ever considering if I'll be able to afford buying another place. Okay, through 3 minutes.
To all the residents that are here, you will be notified by the city staff when we're going to be meeting at Imperial Mobile Home Park. So I want to thank you for coming out. To my colleagues, you have some closing comments. Everybody's leaving. MPT?
Hello? Test, 1, 2, 3, test. Yeah, I'm looking forward to making more positive progress. We cannot give up. We're going to keep moving forward to do whatever we can to help every single resident. And every resident needs to be assisted on various levels. So we're pledging to do that today at this workshop. And I want, if that doesn't happen, I want you to contact me personally. If you want me to come to a meeting with you and the staff, I'll do that. My door is open to every resident in Imperial Avalon, as you know. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, to the staff and to Faring and everyone that came out, to Dignity. Thank you for allowing us to be here today, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
Yes, we do.
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
On your turf.
Say thank you to you to come. Really appreciated your help. On behalf of all the residents, especially the ones that couldn't assist today.
Madam Mayor, did we have a sign-in sheet for today, or did we do that?
I don't think so.
We didn't do that? Okay. Thank you.
Councilman Hilton, did you want to say something?
I concur with all of my colleagues, and we're going to do our best to make sure we hear you. I have been in contact with Jeff, so I'm not sure what Deanna's been talking about where I don't return calls. I thought Jeff was the point person. So we're here for you, and we want to make this thing work for you, okay? That's my prayer. We don't want you under stress or duress, so I understand how that feels. We're doing the best we can. Thanks.
Councilman, can you close us out in prayer, please?
Yes. Father, thank you for this opportunity to share with the residents today. We pray that you would bring resolve to their issue. We pray, God, that you would relieve the pressure, the stress, and the strain. In the only name that matters, Jesus, amen.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks.